Another gold disc and another #1 single for Frank Ifield and Lovesick Blues. And Frank, interesting that the B-side of that, if you like, the other side, was She Taught Me How to Yodel, which came back to the charts in 1991 for you, along with the Backroom Boys, didn't it?
Yes, it did. That was a very unusual version of that. I hadn't heard it over here, because I was back here in Australia at that time. And when somebody sent me a copy of this, and I thought, I don't believe this sound. I hadn't even heard it before. But it did very well for me, didn't it?
It did. It gave you your 18th UK charts hit and only got to number 40 in the charts, but there you were, back in the charts.
Yeah, I must just tell you something, actually, Hugh, that what had happened was when I got Lovesick Blues, I had a Royal Command performance, and the Queen Mum heard that I'd yodel because she heard me doing it with the Lovesick Blues, no doubt. And she sent a note round the back asking me, would I sing Ragtime Cowboy Joe? And because I couldn't remember all the words and things to Ragtime Cowboy Joe, but just to sort of, I knew that she'd like the yodeling, so I did that thing called She Taught Me to Yodel, with just the guitar on the program. That's how that came about, and that's how come we put it on the B-side of that of Lovesick Blues.
Well, you don't say no to the Queen Mum, do you?
That's right. I think about it every time I sing that song.
Let's have a wee listen to the original, just a bit of it anyway.
I went across to Switzerland where all the yodelers be to try to learn to yodel with my yodel-o-dee. I climbed a big high mountain on a clear and sunny day and met a yodeling gal up in a little Swiss chalet. She taught me to yodel, yodel-o-dee, yodel-o-dee, yodel-o-dee. She taught me to yodel, yodel-o-dee, yodel-o-dee, yodel-o-dee.
She Taught Me to Yodel by Frank Ifield. So who taught you to yodel, Frank?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. The first time I remember hearing yodeling was back just after the war in England, because I grew up in a place in Coventry. And then we moved to mostly in Birmingham. And I remember hearing a radio program that came over from Canada on the BBC, and it was Big Bill Campbell in his Rocky Mountain Rhythm. And on that show, they had a girl that yodeled on that. And I don't remember her name, but I remember her singing a song called I Miss My Swiss. And I was only a kid at the time, and I heard that, and I thought, gee, that's good. And I learned to do it. In fact, I used to deliver the milk as a young kid at that stage, earning some pocket money in the early hours of the morning, and I'd put the milk down and yodel, milk-a-loo-doo, and drive everybody nuts. I'm sure they were pleased to see the back end of me.
I'm confessing that I love you. Tell me, do you love me too? I'm confessing that I need you, honest I do. Need you every moment, in your eyes I read such strange things, but your lips deny they're true. Will your answer really change things, leaving me blue? I'm afraid someday you'll leave me, saying can't we still be friends? If you do, you know you'll grieve me, for all in life on you depends. Am I guessing that you really love me, dreaming dreams of you in vain? I'm confessing that I love you over again. I'm afraid someday you'll leave me, saying can't we still be friends? If you do, you know you'll grieve me, for all in life on you depends. Am I guessing that you really love me, dreaming dreams of you in vain? I'm convinced
That's the fourth and final UK number one single for my guest on Golden Brown this morning, Frank Ifield. That's Confessing That I Love You. Frank, we've jumped a wee bit because, of course, your third number one was The Wayward Wind, and that gave you a unique achievement in UK chart history, the first person to have 3 consecutive number one singles.
Isn't that incredible? You know, as I say, I didn't go there to make records, but all of a sudden I've got the first one to make 3 number ones. I couldn't believe my luck when all that happened. And then to come up with I'm Confessing after that, which is ridiculous, really. I mean, there was another one in between there that it was number 4, but to have that, it wasn't consecutive. The fourth one wasn't consecutive. But the interesting thing was, here in Australia, they released a song to follow the Wayward Wind, and it was a song called Please, and that jumped to number 1 over here. But we didn't get the fourth one in England. It was one there called Nobody's Darling But Mine.
Yeah, and
remember that?
It's amazing. Yeah, I've got that here as well. And it's amazing that had that gone to number 1 and then been followed by Confessing, you would have actually had 5 consecutive number 1 singles.
Wouldn't that have been interesting?
I think it would have made you unique in UK chart history. Probably take that of beating you now, but for many years you'd have been unique. I wanted to ask you about the Eurovision Song Contest, because I only found out recently that actually you entered the UK heats not once but twice.
I actually did it many years ago, before it all happened for me, and I had a song called Alone Too Long, and I was on it with Matt Monro. And we were sort of doing the song. It was the song for Europe at that time, but it wasn't the Eurovision. I wasn't actually in the Eurovision. It was the run-up to it. And Matt and I were both having bets on, who was going to win it, because he thought my one would, and I thought his would. He had My Kind of Girl, right? And neither of us won. It was won by a song called Ring-a-Ding Springtime or something.
By Ronnie Carroll. Ronnie Carroll,
yes. It was Ring-a-Ding Springtime, I think it was.
I think it was, something like that, yes. And he actually represented...
And he went on to do the Eurovision Song Contest, and neither of us got it.
He represented the UK, I think, 2 years in succession.
Yes, he did. I did it more recently. I think it was in the... Was it 70s?
1976.
76, I was right, somewhere there. And when I did it on that particular occasion, I rather liked the song. It was just a gimmicky thing. It was one of those bing bang things, but it never got anywhere.
It was called...
I don't think I even got to first base.
Can you remember what it was called?
I do, actually. It was something about Ain't Gonna Take No for an Answer.
Well done. Yep, that's what it was called. It finished last of 12.
Yes. Deservedly so.
Do you know, you are a fascinating chap. I mean, one of the questions you must get asked all the time is, do you regard yourself as being British or Australian?
Well, I was born in England, but to further complicate the issue, both my parents are Australian. So I tend to regard myself probably more as British because I was born there, in England. But I also have Scottish heritage on my mother's side. I'm McGregor. So there we go, you see. So I feel very much identified with Britain, and that was the great years that I spent there. It was just wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. But, moving back here in Australia, I feel kind of Australian too. So I don't know. It's very difficult for me to say.
Now, when you were younger, you'd a couple of fascinating hobbies because you were right into stock car racing and also hot air ballooning.
Yeah, both of those were done here in Australia. I continued doing hot air ballooning over in Britain because I lived not far from Dunstable. And Dunstable Downs that's the place where you do all the hot air ballooning area. And I loved doing that. I had a wonderful story about when I was hot air ballooning. We were, just going over the top of some fields, and I looked down and I could see there was this couple that was sort of madly in love. And so I yelled out and I yodeled from nowhere. I could see them running, trying to get under the bushes so they couldn't be seen. They didn't know where the yodel came from. It was right above them. Oh dear, what a spoiled spot.
There's actually a picture on your website of you hot air ballooning on Dunstable Downs in 1972.
That's right. I'd forgotten it was on the website. Yes, it was. Also, I did some stock car racing there too, but that sort of stock car racing I wasn't used to here in Australia. It was more like there were different sort of cars. The ones we used here were more stocks, more genuine cars with a bit of sort of sort of steel around them and what have you, for safety's sake. But I just love doing those sort of things. But I couldn't do a lot of them because I was a bit of a daredevil and I used to break legs and arms and things like that. And they didn't like that.
In the mid-'80s, Frank, you suffered a bit of ill health, which basically forced you to almost retire from the business, didn't it?
Well, yes, I have retired from the business from the point of view of singing. But although I've retired, I haven't retired as far as show business is concerned. Show business has always been in my blood. The fact that I sang was nothing to do with show business as far as concerned. It was just part and parcel of what I just loved, getting up on the stage and doing things. And so I've kept my hand in and doing that. And I also I promote other artists now, which I always find very, very fascinating as well. And I've had a lot of success with a lot of our Australian artists overseas in Britain, actually.
Do you get back to the UK at all?
Once in a while. I haven't been back for a while. In fact, I've been thinking very seriously of coming over next year. And if I do so, I'll give you a call and let you know. I'll say, hey, I'm here.
Tremendous. Frank, I look forward to that. I do appreciate you taking the time, because I know it's getting on in the evening in Australia now, but I appreciate your time. It's been lovely to chat to you, and all the best. And if you are across here, then please do give us a wee buzz.
I've just released a new song at the moment over there. Well, I say a new one. It'll be new from the point of view of the people there, because they wouldn't have heard it. It's only just been released out there. It's called, do you remember I started off with I Remember You? This song's called Forgetting About You. It's come full cycle, isn't it?
Absolutely. Oh, well, we'll watch out for that one. Frank, it's been lovely. Yeah. It's been lovely to talk to you. We'll finish with your third number one, the one that puts you into the record books, which is The Wayward Wind. All the best, and as I say, if you're over next year, look forward to seeing you.
Thank you very much. It's been lovely talking to you.
Bye-bye, Frank.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
A restless wind, a restless wind that yearns to wander, and I was born the next of kin to the wayward wind. In a lonely shack by a railroad track, I spent my younger days, and I guess the sound of the outward bound made me a slave to my wandering ways. On the wayward wind is a restless wind, a restless wind that yearns to wander, and I was born the next of kin, the next of kin to the wayward wind. Oh, I met a girl in a border town, I vowed we'd never part. Though I tried my best to settle down, she's now alone with a broken heart. And the wayward wind is a restless wind, a restless wind that yearns to wander. The wayward wind, the next of kin.